everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. I'm back again to share a project with you. We're just using 2 items for our card today. We're going to use a few bells and whistles and some inks, but other than that, we're just using 2 items. I'm going to be using the Simon Says Stamp Village. This is a stencil set. It is 5 pieces, and it creates this fun village with ease, I should say. And then I'm also going to be used for migrating All the Joy die set. This is a 2-piece die set. It has the shadow and then the real pretty font that will die cut out the All the Joy. I thought that'd be a fun holiday card, and I'm going to go with some bright cheery colors, and we're going to jump in and get started. I do want to mention that this is part of the Simon Says Stamp All the Joy release. It's brand new over there at the shop, but this is what the stencil looks like. It's 5 pieces. 4 of them are houses. You see the 4? And then the 5th one, or the first one, depending on how you layer them, has the windows and doors. And then also a moon up here. Very easy to layer together. Once they're all layered together, it does create that beautiful scene I showed you earlier. And then Simon did include the negative pieces for masking. These stencils are 6x6 and they're indexed at the very top with Simon's name and the product number. There's no numbers on them because you can definitely go out of order at your preference, whatever one you want to do first. So you don't really need the number. Now, the inks that we're going to be using are some pastel-y, bright colors. I'm using my Distress Oxide inks. I have Kitsch Flamingo, Tumbled Glass, Salvaged Patina, Dried Marigold, and last but not least, we have Twisted Citron. We're going to be using these to ink in our houses. And I do have my 6x6 Waffle Flower grip mat. I haven't used this for stenciling yet, so I thought we would give this a go. I have a piece of white cardstock. We're just going to create an A2 panel. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And so far I like how it doesn't move the paper, which is really nice. Okay, for our very first stencil, since these are 6x6, I'm just going to line it up corner to corner. And I want to use my Kitsch Flamingo. We'll do that first. And our dried marigold. I want to add a little bit of dried marigold to these houses. So we'll first pick up some ink, add a little color over the top. The bottom corners too. Don't forget those corners. Lovely. And then I'll take my dried marigold and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the rooftops, almost like it's a shadow. Add a little color. Wonderful. I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to wipe this off and we'll put on our next color. We added our next layer, and I have to say I've been loving this grip mat. It's been really nice. Okay, for our next color, we're going to use Salvaged Patina. And we're going to go over these. I like to call these candy colors because they remind me of a candy jar. And we will add our Salvaged Patina. And I'm going to do a little ink blending with Twisted Citron, just adding a little bit of color variation. Okay. We will wipe this off and then we'll put on our next layer. For me, sometimes it's just easier to wipe it off while it's on my paper. We'll add our next layer for this one. For this next layer, we're going to go with Tumbled Glass. We'll add some blue in here. And I'm just going to keep this blue. I'm not going to add any gradient with this one. And you know, really, I don't even have to hold this down. I'm so used to holding the stencil down. It's so nice you don't have to. So that is our tumbled glass. And then we'll remove this. And then we have one more. You can see we're missing one more, but I'm loving the color look here. We will add our last one. We'll just line this up. For my last color, I'm going to use dried marigold, and I may add just a little bit of my Kitsch Flamingo. So let's add some orange here. And that's our final house layer. Let's go ahead and remove this. I'm going to put this back on here, and I think the tumbled glass and the Salvaged Patina are really close in color, so I'm going to add a little bit more green. So there's our background. I'm going to leave this here because we have our next layer, our fifth layer, which has our, make sure it's right side up, but I'm going to add our fifth layer that has our windows. Tack that down. And instead of using Distress Oxide inks, what I'm going to do is bring in some texture paste. I'm going to use my matte opaque texture paste. We'll just open this up. I'm going to add some texture to my background. For the most part, this is just going to be a single layer card, and we will add this. Now the texture paste may pick up some of the colors, but that's okay. So far so good with this grip mat. I'm really liking it. I mean, I have this one, the stamp and stencil mat, but after a while you can see it loses some of its grip. But this one is probably forever. You don't have to replace it, which is nice. Although it is more expensive than the stamp and stencil mat, but that's okay. So we have our texture paste. If you wanted to use some glitter paste, you could. I think moonstone or moonshine. Okay, we are going to lift up our stencil here. And we have some dimensional wipe off the sides, but look at the dimension that gives. That is super fun. We're going to doctor this up a little bit more since it is one layer, but I'm going to bring these to my sink and I'm going to wash them off, and I will be right back. Okay, I went ahead and washed my grip mat, and I'm loving it. I do want to mention that I'm using Oxide inks, and Oxide inks usually wipe up really well. I think if you were to use a dye-based ink, you could possibly stain this. Definitely a pigment ink would probably stain this. But so far so good. I'm liking it. I'm going to take my panel, and the texture paste dries pretty quickly. I'm going to put this back on here, and then I'm going to bring in some of my Nuvo crystal drops. This is Simply White. What we're going to do is, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to add some snowy rooftops to our houses, just for a little bit of dimension. So how to do that is very simple. I'll take my Nuvo drops. We'll start with this pink house here, and I'm just going to go along the rooftop like that. And then what you do is kind of drop some of this, like you're creating a little bit of icing on it. Let me show you. And there's no right or wrong to do this. It just creates a snowy rooftop. And I'm pretty sure that this won't be a stark white. It's going to pull back in color because it's going to pick up some of the ink of the Oxide inks, but that's okay because it's going to keep it soft. I'm going to just go ahead and I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to go maybe every other one, or just a few of the rooftops. And it's very easy to do. What would be really cute too is turning these into gingerbread houses. Oh my goodness, that's just adorable. So we'll do this big one here. The nice thing is the Nuvo drops are very forgiving. Do this one here. And I'm just going to continue on until I have a few snowy rooftops. So we have a few snowy rooftops and we have some dimension. Let me show you. You can see the dimension that adds. Another option too would be to trim a couple out and do some layering with them. I've did that before. So I'm going to remove my grip mat. We will put some scratch paper down, and then I want to add some sparkly rooftops. So to do that, I'm going to use my Studio Katia glitter. This is my chunky sparkle glitter. And since this is a holiday card, we need some sparkle. We'll add some glitter over the top. Another option, if you don't like to deal with glitter, is to use some stickles. The diamond stickles is really pretty, although I think this gives a little bit more dimension. And I'm just going to tap away the excess. And then we have some sparkly rooftops. So cute. I'm going to funnel this back in there. And then in the meantime, we're going to work on our greeting. For my sentiment, we have All the Joy. And it's such a pretty die. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out 3 times with some white cardstock. And then I'm going to do the shadow with a piece of vellum. What I'm going to do is stack all 3 of these together. And then I'll take some thin foam tape. And then I'll put that behind there for a little bit of dimension. I went ahead and created my greeting. My greeting is all done. I stacked 3 of them together, place them on my vellum background, and then I did put foam tape behind here just for a little bit of dimension. I'm going to keep this white. And then this will take a little bit of time to dry. Not the windows. The windows are actually already dry. What takes the time is the Nuvo drops. Okay, so I do want to share, I did one earlier, and you can see that the Nuvo drops aren't white anymore. It picked up some of the color from our houses, and that's okay. And we have lots of sparkle that stuck to it. So we're going to use this. We're going to finish our card with this and set this aside to dry. We're going to place this on our background, and there is a moon. Let me show you. In our stencil, there's a moon. Actually, it goes this way, but I didn't use that. I think this would make a cute neighborhood card too. But I'll take this panel and I'm going to adhere it to my card base. And then I'll take my greeting and we're going to add it on the left. Usually I have a tendency to go to the right, but we're going to go to the left. Okay, and then lastly, I have some PinkFresh Studio. These are the clear iridescent drops. We're going to add some of these to our background as well, just a few. Grab my glue here. Wonderful. And that finishes off my card today. I hope you get a chance to check out the Simon Says Stamp All the Joy release. It's a super fun release, and I thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.